So what is weighted voting system? A weighted voting system is one in which some voters have more weight on the outcome of an election. For example, stockholders of the company, Electoral College, United Nations Security Council, and European Union. A weighted voting system of N voters is written in like this. So Q stands for quota. A quota is the number of votes that are required to pass a motion or measure. And this W, it represents the weights of the voter. So each voter controls a certain number of votes, which are called the weights of the voter. This is the weights of the voter. And the quota must be half of the total weights and cannot be more than total weights. And note that if the quota is outside of the range in the inequality above, the said weighted voting system is invalid. And that is weighted voting system. So right now, let's proceed to the various voting systems. We have 4 various voting systems, and right now I'm going to introduce the one person, one voting system. It is where everyone is equal, and each voter is assigned a weight of 1. For example, we have a quota of 5 and a number of voters of 8, as you can see here. So you only need 5 or any 5 people to agree. It is a standard majority. Second is dictatorship. It occurs when the voter's weight is greater than or equal to the quota. So we have an example here, which is the quota is 20, and then the player's vote is 21. We have also 6, 5, 4, and 3. So the first player has 21 votes, which is already greater than 20. Even if you sum up or total the other 4 players, which is the 6, 5, 4, and 3, it's only a total of 18. They cannot reach the quota of the first player without the dictator. Third is the null system. A null system, it is when the total of weights of voters is less than or below the quota. For example, our quota is 28 and the voters are 6, 3, 5, and 2. When you sum up the voters, it is lesser than 28. So therefore, no measure can be passed. The last one is veto power system. According to the book, a voter has a veto power if their support is necessary for the quota to be reached. It is possible for more than one player to have a veto power or for no player to have a veto power. So it means that it cannot pass without a specific voter's support. For example, we have a quota of 21, 6, 21, and then we have a voter of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when you sum up the voters, it is a total of 21. And even if the total voters are 21, if one voter stays home, it drops to 20, and then it is below the quota or less than the quota. So in this specific example, every single player holds a veto power, and that's a veto power system. Let's proceed to the last part. So, coalitions and weighted voting systems. So, coalition is a set of voters, each of whom votes the same way, either for or against a resolution. Winning coalitions, it is a set of voters, the sum of whose votes is greater than or equal to the quota. Losing coalition, it is a set of voters, the sum of whose votes is less than the quota. Critical voter, it is a voter who leaves a winning coalition and thereby turns into a losing coalition. Dictator, this is a voter who has a weight that is greater than or equal to the quota. And lastly, dummy. Dummy is a voter who is never a critical voter and has no power. And that is the coalitions and weighted voting systems. Right now, I will be providing an example of the coalitions in weighted voting systems. So the example that I will be showing is from the book Example 1. It is a weighted voting system is given by with a quota of 6. As you can see here, then a voter of, and then a 4 voter, then weights of 3 to 1. So to start that, as you can see here, the letter A question is what is the quota? So the quota is 6. How many voters are in the system? It is 4. What is the weight of voter B? The answer is 3. What is the weight of the correlation A and C? The answer is 6. Is AD a winning correlation? The answer is no. Which voters in the correlations are critical voter? The answer is A and C. How many correlations can be formed? So we have the formula here, 2 to the power of n minus 1 is equal to 2 to the power of 4 minus 1, and in order to get the 16, you have to multiply the 4 by itself, so 4 times 4 is equals to 16, and in order to get the 15 is you have to subtract it by 1. So therefore, the correlations that can be formed is 15. How many winning correlations can be formed? So it can form 7 correlations. We have A and B, AC, ABC, ABD, ACD, BCD, and ABCD. How many correlations consist of exactly 3 voters? So we have 4 correlations. It includes ABC, ABD, ACD, and BCD. So here's an example of correlations in weighted voting system. So this is the last part of the discussion, and this is the Banzhaf Power Index, or BPI. It is derived by John F. Banzhaf III in 1965, and the Banzhaf Power Index determines the power of a voter in a weighted voting system. The Banzhaf Power Index BPI of a voter B is given by like this. So BPI of a voter B is equals to number of times a voter B is a critical voter divided by number of times any voter is a critical voter. So in order to get the example, I will refer the example 2 to determine the BPI of A, B, and CD. So this is the example 3, and these are the results from the from the example 2, and we are going to determine the BPI of A, B, C, and D. So here is the winning correlations for the AB, and then we have a number of votes of 875, and it has a critical votes of AB. And AD has a number of votes of 900 and has a critical votes of AD. And for the BD, we have 775, and then it has a critical votes of BD. And for the ABC, we have numbers of votes of 1,100, and it has a critical votes of AB. And for the ABD, it has a number of votes of 1,275, and it doesn't have any critical votes. And for the BCD rather, and for the ACD rather, it has a 1,125 votes, and it has a critical votes of AD. And for the BCD, it has 1,000 votes, and it has a critical votes of BD. And for the ABC and D, it has 1,500 number of votes, and it doesn't have any critical votes. Here's the example 3. After determining the BPI of A, B, and C, and D, so the number of times any voter is a critical voter is 12, because A is times 4, then B is 4 times, C is 0 times, and D is 4 times. So the BPA of A is 0.33, also B 0.33, and D is 0.33. As you can see here, BPI of C is 0 because it doesn't have a critical voter. So therefore, voters A, B, and D has the power, and that's BPI.